Let's start off with some history and how Block 7 Bar and Grill used to be Henry's Bank and Cafe back in the 1920s. Henry's Saloon in the 1920s was also known as Henry's Bank and Cafe. It was a small sample room at one point. William T.B. Henry was the owner, and he had a reputation of knowing everybody in town. Henry's used to attract the elite of the town. Women that wished to enter the premises were only admitted when properly escorted by a gentleman. The lady the man would bring would be escorted to a small room in the rear end of the building. Henry's sample room is a frame building at the southwest corner of Tuscarawas Avenue and 3rd Street, and it was replaced by a brick building known as Barley's, a sports pub, and then Block 7 Bar and Grill. The floor pattern on the corner entrance of Block 7 Bar and Grill still remains the original Henry name in its pattern, along with the ceiling and the floor. It hasn't changed since Henry's. The clothing shop next door to Henry's Bank and Cafe had a speakeasy in its basement. Now, I'm not sure if they shared the speakeasy or not, but it is possible. Then, over time, the clothing store conjoined with the restaurant, and it's now a pool table room in Block 7 Bar and Grill. Let's go meet one of the bartenders and both of the owners of the bar and see how they feel about owning and working at Block 7 Bar and Grill and see if they have any other facts to add.
My name is Tonda. I am one of the owners here at Block 7 Bar and Grill.
What or how do you feel when you walk into the apartments?
It doesn't bother me at all. I kind of actually feel kind of at ease. It doesn't scare me or bother me, or I'm sure there's some spirits running around, but it doesn't bother me at all.
So basically, like you just said, you're pretty sure there's some spirits. Do you ever feel like there's somebody with you when you come up to the apartments?
You know, I really haven't been up here that often, but no, I think they're here, but I don't think they really follow me. I think they're the ones that are here stay here.
From what I've been told, or from what I remember, is it true that men would get drunk and then find a girl to come up to the apartments and do things sexually with them?
It was known to be a brothel back in the day, and that's basically what that is. There was a lot of industry here in Barberton at one time, the railroad, and there was a match company and different things that brought in a lot of people, a lot of business. And so yes, we were told at one point that it used to be a brothel up here.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when you step foot in the apartments?
Actually, I don't feel anything one way or the other, or think anything, or just history, just the fact that it's the building is sold and it has such a history.
Are there any facts or things you would like to share about the apartments?
Well, I don't know anything firsthand, obviously. I'm not quite that old. But it just, the fact that I just love the history of the place. There's nothing really that I know for sure one way or the other about. So.
What or how do you feel when you enter this room?
Just kind of like the same as the upstairs apartments. It doesn't faze me one way or the other. I feel very comforted up here, very comfortable, no issues.
What would people do in the 1920s in this upstairs bar?
I'm not so sure if this bar existed in the 1920s, because this building is actually two different addresses. So I'm not quite sure that it was always a bar. We have found some old records that may have indicated that there might have been some attorney's offices in the building. So I'm not quite sure if it was always a bar up here. It's always been one, I think, downstairs, but I don't think it's always been one up here. I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen anything, or have you ever felt like somebody was in this room with you?
Yes, can't say that I've actually seen anything, but I've definitely felt. I've seen more activity downstairs than I have upstairs. But then again, we're downstairs more than we are upstairs, so.
Are there any facts you would like to share about this room, or things you know that have happened in the past up in this room?
Back, the owners before us had it as a country bar.
My name's Mark, one of the owners here.
Can you share some facts about the speakeasy that was down here?
Well, all we have is hearsay. We've had psychics come through the building, and most of our information is based on what things that they have said. And
Thank you. Was there anything left behind, like objects involving the speakeasy?
No, but you have to figure that there's been multiple owners in here in between, so I'm sure things have disappeared over the years.
Do you feel anything different from upstairs when you come down here?
Yes, there are people that will not come into this basement.
Do you ever see anything like moving or anything unusual, or do you hear anything unusual from other employees of things that have happened or they have seen down here?
I think it's just, I don't know if anybody has ever seen anything in this basement. It's just they come down and say they get a really bad vibe. In fact, the health department, the first time we had a inspection, they came down to this basement and turned around and walked right back up and said, I'm sure you don't use that basement any. And left. So. And they've never been back out here since.
Besides what a speakeasy is mainly used for, do you think anything else has happened down here back in the past?
We've heard that somebody was hung down here.
Okay. Also, you have another basement. There was a little boy. Do you know how he died? Or how old he was?
We're guessing around 10. I believe the psychic said they thought like scarlet fever from back in the day.
My name is Holly, and I am a bartender here at Block 7.
Okay. How does it feel being a worker here and knowing about the building's history?
Well, I think it's very interesting to be a part of the building in the city. This building is in the historical district in Barberton, so not just this building, but this whole area down here is pretty active with that kind of stuff. I love being here. I love my job. I love what I do.
If you didn't know about the history of the building, do you think you would feel something different other than what you feel now?
Good question. Probably at first. I think coming in, already knowing a little bit about the place and the stories and the history and the everything, I think probably in your head you kind of want to look for things or think you feel something, but there are definitely a lot of people that don't know anything that come in here and have a lot of experiences too. So
what room or spot in the building, minus the apartments, do you feel the most connected to?
probably the bar itself. That's where I am most of the time. That's where people are. That's where all the activity happens. We have live music. We have, it's just kind of the hot spot in general. That's where people see things, hear things, talk about it. So probably the bar itself.
What is the craziest or most unusual thing you've ever heard a customer tell you they've witnessed?
That would probably be a guy used to come in a couple times a month, swore up and down he was talking to somebody, a manager, an owner, somebody, in a long black coat and a black top hat. Not a top hat, but a black hat. And swore up and down it was the owner or the manager. We have nobody that fits that description. He would sit down and talk by himself, but he saw something that nobody else saw. So that would probably definitely be that.
Is there any other things you would like to say or add?
Just that I think it's really cool to be a part of the building's history and the city's history, and I love hearing what people say that they feel or hear or experience, and not everybody believes in that kind of stuff, but that doesn't make it wrong or right, and I'm glad I'm here.